oftentimes when I have these conversations, I bring in a scenario that is brought to me in my office, especially if I have conversations with lawyers or human resources managers. I bring in other people's problems.
Welcome back to Ascend Legal 101 for part 2 of my conversation with Marion Harding-Soare. I'm Ramona, and as a part of our conversation about boundaries, we're going to discuss finding tools to deal with your shit, saying yes to what is meant for you, and saying no without guilt, excuses, or justification. I will put a link to part 1, Internalizing Client Trauma and Setting Healthy Boundaries, here, and at the end of this video for ease of reference. Marion Harding-Soare is a contract paralegal, teacher, and business owner. She's the current chair of the Better Business Bureau of Vancouver Island and has over 30 years of experience in law firms and committees and board work in the legal community. Please help me welcome back Marion Harding-Soare. And before I forget, again, please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for all the good stuff that's coming your way.
So let's talk about those different kinds of things. I mean, we were talking about boundaries. Let's talk about the ways that people deal with their shit. I mean, so when I go to counseling, and also I meditate, and but that's to consistently do that is new for me. So I've only been doing that for a year. I walk every day, and I'm much better about taking care of myself because I thought I was having a heart attack for a couple of years. So
it's called an anxiety attack when you're younger. Usually.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but I didn't call it an anxiety attack. I thought I physically felt like I was having a heart attack. I didn't realize it was anxiety. I was just like, oh, I'm having a challenge. So, and I was just mad all the time. So what are the things that you do to deal with that kind of stuff?
I walk every day too. I truly try to do the 10,000 steps. I say try because it's my goal every day. Yesterday I did like 14,000 steps, which was like amazing, and still did tons of work. But the day before, it was like 7,500. And I don't beat myself up about it. I do my very best to have, my goal is always 8 hours sleep. Mostly I don't make that, but if I can make 7 hours in a row, that's good. I walk every day. I just started doing yoga as a daily practice, just so you know, I'm on day 5. So it's not in a row. So I'm just trying to do things that are just things that make a difference for me, to try and figure out what my thing is. And so I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to start, and it's going to be yoga and meditating, it's just going to be all these things, which I consistently did for 2 days in a row, and that was it. And then I sort of, thought, okay, I need to pick one, but I do drink tons of water, and I walk every single day. And yeah, meditating and yoga, that's my newest thing. And the meditating, sometimes it's hard for me to even get to that point where I'm relaxed enough, but I still give myself 10 minutes. And it doesn't matter. Mostly I like to start the day that way because I feel more grounded, I think. And I'm trying to not use cliche things, but I truly feel like that whole, you're living your best life. Well, we don't know how long we get to be here. So I would like to enjoy all of it and not feel angry or unappreciated or mad or frustrated. And I have a good life, and it wasn't always that way. And so you got to change. If you can, though, don't change your bank account. That's really a lot of work.
Not your business bank account. Anyway.
I work now with a really great bunch of people all across Canada, and it's been a virtual law firm since 2013, and it is like way above the curve. I feel super appreciated, and I think maybe it's like you got to kiss a lot of frogs before you appreciate the prince. That's sort of how it feels. And I've had the pleasure of working on lots of committees and with people that I really admire, and definitely not all law related, but I feel like you've got to have. I'd like to have a more mixed bag. My husband has a contracting business, as you know, and I help him with his paperwork and books and all of that stuff. I do miss meeting clients in person. And the other thing that I really miss, which really makes my heart feel good, is spending time with my grown kids and grandkids. So yeah.
That's another thing actually with boundaries, is that sometimes it means that we have to realize that we're valuable, and we don't have to always, I mean, because I'm going to generalize here that women tend to be caregivers, and we take a lot of the unpaid work on, and we're expected to do that. You know, saying yes and saying, oh yeah, you know what, I got this letter saying I need to get this. You're right. I need to get this. And not because I can't tell you how many times I've handed my turn off to somebody else. I suppose some of it was a deserving thing, but some of it also was, look, I'm the leader here. I'm the whatever, the president, the whatever. And this person is a staff person. I'm going to give this opportunity that came to me to them, because they don't always get these opportunities. So, you know, I flowed all of those opportunities that came my way to the other people around me. And now I realize, oh, you know, those opportunities came to me for a reason. Part of sort of setting boundaries is saying yes to the things that are for you, and saying no to the things that are not for you, but sometimes we take it on behalf of other people because they will let us take that on, of course.
I didn't consider that until recently either. I thought that saying no was the hardest thing, which I still find difficult. I find when people, you know, are like, oh, we could really use the help. And I was like, oh, I do want to help people. Instead of, you know, my deal in the last couple of years has been to say your truth. And so that sounds so simple, but to say the truth is I'm overwhelmed, or the truth is I'm at my max, or I have everything. And there's nothing wrong with saying I have everything that I want to be doing. And you're right, saying yes to the things that come your way, and definitely sometimes to decide that you're going to be doing things for free, or that you're going to be, you know, this year I'm chairing the Better Business Bureau, and I've been on the executive for years, and it's, you know, it's unpaid and it's time that you take away from your business and all of that, but it feels important for me to do. And it's an experience, and you know, there's people from all different businesses, and they're really great and interesting, and the work is interesting, but you know that that's free, and it's your choice that it's free. And it sort of came to me, and yeah, I'm happily doing it, but that isn't always the case. And I think you're right. So I said yes to that, but then to other things, I try really hard to say no. But the other thing that I'm doing is I'm trying to have the positive self-talk, not be negative about stuff. You know, eating a bag of chips, for example, that does not take away the fact that, you know, that you've exercised for the last 30 days, or that you've eaten well, or, you know what it just means? It's a freaking bag of chips. That's all it means. It doesn't mean anything. It means next. Right? It just really doesn't. And I think that we're so quick to belittle ourselves instead of just, you know, that's done. That was, yep, that's how I handled it. And now I'm not. So I think that it's important, you're right, to say yes to the things that are good for us and no to the things that are not. And there's no shame. And this is the weirdest thing, saying no. When I said, no, I actually can't do that. And they go, okay. Or for a long time, because everybody was working virtually, I was working 7 days a week. Oh, well, it was only for 45 minutes yesterday. Oh, it was only for 2 hours that Sunday. Oh, it was only for this. And so instead, I made the deal with myself to take 2 days a week. It doesn't matter to me what days they are, but I'm going to take 2 a week. And then I just let my firm know.
Right.
So it's saying yes to them and no, or it's saying yes to them and yes to me, and no to them and no to me. So it's building my own. And you know what? Not a single time did they ever balk about it. Thanks for letting us know.
When I let go of some of my responsibilities that I previously had, I had a lot of people come to me asking me if I would be on different boards. And I just said no to all of them. Recently, like I'm starting to consider, but you know, it's over a year. So, and you know, there was always the big pitch. Well, you know, you could blah, 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 blah. Well, that's fine, but the answer is no. And thank you very much. And I stopped telling people the reasons why. I stopped saying I'm overwhelmed. I stopped saying, no, I can't do this because. There was no more becauses. So I just started saying no. And just let it there, stay there. So that's just what people get now. And it is interesting because after a while, people weren't, I found people weren't, you know, that little bit of, people don't mean to do it, but sometimes there's that little bit of manipulation because they just want you to do what they want you to do. And you've always done it before. So why, I don't understand. When I stopped saying the reason why, the answer is no. That little bit of manipulation, it just didn't come my way anymore. And it was such a relief. It was just such a relief. Then I thought, oh, hey, guess what? I'm not in people-pleasing mode anymore. Now I can do what I need to do or what I want to do and serve in the ways that I feel is important to my heart, and then do that without needing all of the stuff, you know, without needing the accolades, without needing the, oh, gee, I did what you asked me to do, you know, without needing all of that, just sort of. And that was a big growth experience.
I think too, I was talking to my husband about this the other day, that, you know, somebody would say to me, oh my God, family law? Oh, sexual abuse, historical stuff. Oh my God, how do you do it? And it's so selfless. And I would take the compliment, but the truth is, it isn't selfless. So few things that we do are selfless. That isn't the truth. And the truth is, we all need to figure out what we get out of every situation, because good or bad, we are taking something on for a reason, I believe. And what are we getting out of it? And so even, you're right, when I would explain to somebody, oh, I can't, you know, I've got 4 kids, blah, blah, you know, I'm making a stew, put your excuse in here. It doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter. It's that you don't want to do it. I heard years ago, Oprah Winfrey say that she's decided that she is not doing things that she doesn't want to do. And I thought to myself, that's amazing. If I was rich, I could probably do that. Instead of, you could start today. You could truly start today. And of course, when it's you're working on a file and you don't want to do a list of documents, but you work with a litigator, the only way to not do that is get a new job. And so it's different. You know, nobody loves filing. You know, there's all of these things that we incorporated into our work that is just part of our work, but there's a lot of things that are not. And you're absolutely right. You don't need to give an excuse beyond, oh, you know, I can't. Because for years I heard people just say no, and I would always want to give a reason. And, you know, the answer is no. And it's okay that feels awful at first. It gets better.
And I think probably too, for me, I was just tired that if they press me for a reason, the reason that they were going to get is not something that they would want to hear. Right? I mean, because I was just done, right?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be about me. It wouldn't be like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't be like that. It would be, oh, you know who I want to work with? People who don't objectify women. Oh, you know who I want to work with? You know, like, oh, you know who I want to work with? People who aren't padding their resume. People who actually give a shit about what they're doing.
Yes.
Right? So it wasn't going to be nice. So I just said no.
And almost always it's accepted. Or that's too bad, or, you know, it depends. But yeah, I don't find that the manipulation continues, and it has to be that way. I think it has to be that way. You have to evaluate yourself in the midst of something, and also the people around you. And sometimes even our families can manipulate us, or we can feel, because, and I don't know that it's, on purpose even. I think that a lot of times it's just because that's how the relationship has gone. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can change it.
I had something come up recently where somebody I used to work with had come back into my life and wanted to sort of continue a working relationship together. And I was like, I had to sit back and go, you know what? Is this somebody that I want in my life now?
Yeah.
I think at one time it would have been great. I mean, we always worked well together before, but now I don't think, I have a different way of dealing with things, and my drama meter is quite a lot lower than it was. I don't think I ever sort of really considered. Before it was always like, oh yeah, I'll be your friend. Oh, I'd love to work with you. Oh, that sounds like fun. Now it's like, maybe that might, I'm not sure if that's going to work for me right now. I'm not sure if that matches with my value system anymore. I'm not sure, right?
And to just, it's okay to be able to, we don't have to give answers like that. We're allowed to say, I just need to consider that. Or I just have a lot on my plate just at this moment. I'm just going to consider it and I'll get back to you. And only say it if you are going to get back to them, because it is wrong to, again, we need to treat ourselves like we would our friends. And so you need to be as kind to them as you would like. And so I find that when I'm considering what I'm going to ask of someone, I'm no longer going to ask anything of someone that I wouldn't ask of myself. And I don't know that was always the way, but I think that's a really great rule to live by. And the older I like rules to live by. Like I love things that sound interesting, and I have that personality where if it sounds fun and there's going to be a lot of people, not COVID related, that's inappropriate, then I'm in. Oh, it's going to be a lot of work, really, and people are going to love me. I am so in. But that's a form of manipulating myself. So
Right.
I really do have to consider, and you're right, you consider the people that are around you and why do you want to be having, because every single thing that we do forms a relationship. Is that a person I want to have a relationship with? Small or big, it is. They're all building relationships all the time. What I do, is this what I want people to think? I find it interesting because I often am working with people having a call, doing construction or meeting someone. So I met someone today who was giving me an estimate, and he swore like a trooper through the whole thing. And I wondered to myself, and it's not that I don't swear, but I wondered, did he speak that way because he saw me as a construction company owner? Would he have spoken to me differently? He wasn't offensive at all, but I mean, he was just sort of dropping the F-bomb as he was going through things. And I wondered if it was because he perceived me, or did he think at all about it? And I think we can be true to ourselves and present ourselves to people in the best light and still be true. Whether, you don't have to be super formal, but you don't have to be so lazy that you could potentially offend someone getting your point or your information across to them.
Right. Well, you know that I swear a lot, although I am way more mindful. And we used to have a joke in one law firm that I worked in, that because we all swore so much all the time, and it was funny. And it's always funny until the clients hear you.
Yes.
Right? And then you're like, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. But what I found working with men in particular, and going out into the world and working in different areas like aviation, sometimes men will tell you that they would ask me, why did you just say the F word? I don't like hearing that come out of your mouth. And I was like, well, you're listening now, aren't you? So a well-placed F-bomb sometimes got people to stop and listen. And, the gift of being in law is that you can see when people are paying attention. And I'd say, really, if Ted said that, would you be offended?
Mhm.
If Bill said that, would you have been offended?
I don't
I
even
don't-
know. Yeah, for me, it wouldn't even be that would that person have been offended, but would they have called another guy out?
Right.
Said that to another man. That upsets me when you speak that way. You're not my dad. You're not my spouse. You're not, you know what I mean? You're not the boss of me. I don't think it becomes, yeah, that's kind of an odd way. You know, the other thing was when somebody had told me, and I just loved the way he said this. So when you had said about how you don't give excuses anymore when you say no. So his one, when somebody said, well, why? He would say, why do you need to know? Or why would you like, why is that important to you to know? Because because we feel put on the spot. But when he said that to me, I just burst out laughing because I just thought, that's perfect.
Mhm.
And he said, because people don't know what to say back.
Mhm.
Because, you know, because as a mother, I would say, hey, asked and answered, which my kids
Right.
still hate, that you know, you don't say that to another adult who's asking you to do something.
I'm the mom and you're the kid.
Exactly.
I'm the boss.
That's right. Yeah, but it's like, why is that important to know? Or why do you need to know that? And it's just sort of like, because when he said it to me, I just was like, oh, you're right. I don't need to know that. I just, asked and answered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I often wondered, would that work in real life? So I should try it. But now that I've actually just said, no, I can't, people go, okay,
Mhm.
well, I asked, you know,
Mhm.
and leave it.
I try not to be offended now too if I ask people to do things and they say no,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be really busy and you want to, or maybe it just doesn't align with your values, or maybe like sometimes I've had the experience where I've asked people if they wanted to have these kind of conversations with me.
Mhm.
And they've said no, but not only that, they have referred me. So I always just say, oh, thanks very much. I
Mhm.
really appreciate it. And, you know, sometimes really I just want to talk to you, Marion, about this
Yeah.
because I know that, you know, I don't need to talk to just anybody. There's a purpose for these conversations. And if somebody says no to me, then I'm like, oh, okay, thank you.
Every time this is what I picture. I picture anytime I'm asking someone, I'm offering them a cup of coffee. And then they say, no, thank you. And I say, okay, because I am never offended when someone says no to a cup of coffee.
Right.
So that's truly how I had to picture it at first, because I'd be like, well, why would they say no to me when I would say yes to them? You know, and it's all of that back and forth, that whole, you know, the give and take of things. And it's just sort of like, you know what? They just said no. It's just a cup of coffee. Just
Yeah.
no, that's all. That's all it is.